You are watching Travel World Online.
Welcome to Travel World Online. My name is Shweta Arya Verma. Today we have with us Susan Lightons and Greeley Ghosh. They joined hands to start Digi-Travel Consulting to facilitate corporate travel. Welcome to Travel World Online, Susan and Greeley. Susan, when did you start Digi-Travel and what was the idea behind?
Digi-Travel's we just celebrated our 2-year anniversary. Woohoo! And we celebrated it with the announcement of Jyoti. Woohoo!
Thank you.
We finally grew well enough and strong enough to bring in somebody after I did a project and realized that there's so much opportunity. So I just left a very formal, structured program, was very proud of it, was doing everything by the book. And then when you step outside of that, you see all the things you weren't taking advantage of. And I asked myself, why? Why wasn't I taking advantage of that? And realized there were so many processes in between me and the next great innovative thing out there, flatten those processes. And I did a little of that in my past job of removing RFPs from the hotel program, right? So I said, there's such opportunity for the corporate market, but there's nobody helping the corporations and suppliers talk directly to each other. And how can they do that and create a better next-gen travel program? So Digi-Travel was inspired to be the person that brings those two teams together directly through multiple channels, omni-channels, decentralize the program a little bit, and create a program that allows the right company to talk to the right corporation without all those layers in the middle. And we do that through digitization, Scrum management, DTRA, or Digi-Travel Readiness Assessment, outlining the opportunities. We do it on the supplier side. We have great success with suppliers trying to enter the corporate market by looking at their business models, because when you're building technology, you don't necessarily build what the corporation may need. And so being the corporate whisperers, we're able to look at that technology and go, why did you build this? What is it going to solve for? And does the corporation actually need it? And we try to help them work on their design and their development, if it makes sense to us, to bring it to the corporate market the way they need it, not the way they think they need it. And that's been missing in our market. That's been missing in corporate travel. So taking those lessons from other successful business ventures and becoming that path between the two is why Digi-Travel got started. So we're not a standing company. Take your program to the next generation. Build in the next generation and realize that the real main focal point needs to be how to build that bridge, which is the missing piece, right? There's a lot of great technology and services and API and blockchain and all that great conversation happening. And then the corporate side saying, whoa, I don't understand this. And this sounds like a lot. And realizing that because of all the layers that were put into place from the big box and the big companies, there's no bridge, there's no path from one to the other. And that path is very important, that middle piece. And so we pride ourselves on speaking corporate. We're known as the corporate whisperers. I spent 10 years at Cisco Systems, running their global travel and meetings department. And my good friend Bindu is still in India running half of that around the world, and very exciting work there and on the supplier side. And we hope to continue to be the corporate whisperers between the buyers and the suppliers.
Greeley, what is your plan for India?
I was with the Association of Corporate Travel Executives, and I would get to India quite often. And we're very excited to have Jyoti as our Vice President of India for Digi-Travel Consulting for several reasons. One is that, as we talked about just a little bit earlier, that she does have the passion for this industry. And she's also very good at connecting folks. And that's what really Digi-Travel is all about. As we are the bridge with connecting buyers and suppliers, Jyoti is really the bridge to help the corporations out there connect with the suppliers to improve the traveler experience. And I always know that from my travels to India that everybody there is always forward looking. They're always looking to embrace the next technology, the next method. And that's why I've always been excited about the Indian marketplace and excited that Jyoti is on our team, because there are so many new things happening, as Susan described, with giving travelers choice of their booking channels, choice to make sure that duty of care tracking is always there, choice to make sure that you're getting the correct rates. And so what we want to do is bring these new methodologies, these new ways of doing business to those corporations. In an easy way that we do this, we have what we call our DigiTravel Readiness Assessment. And it's a very quick way that we go in, look at a travel program, and then do an analysis and a report that says, here's where your program is today, and here's where it can go tomorrow.
Now, this question is for both of you. How do you see the future of MICE in India?
I was actually having this conversation last week. Somebody was telling me that, well, people won't want to go in person anymore. And I said, well, I kind of disagree with that. I said, I think that the online experience has served a void, right? In the fact that we haven't been able to get together. The online experience, whether it's, Zoom meetings, team meetings, the other types of platforms that are out there that, have a really robust experience where you can chat and you can look at different people, they've really served a void here. Now, as we look forward to the future, I believe that there'll be a hybrid situation, that people will still want to get together. They want to connect, right? Because most of the brainstorming and the ideas that are created aren't necessarily coming from an hour of Zoom. They're coming from when you're at that meeting and you're at the coffee break, you're at the lunch break, you're at the cocktail break, you're at the dinner. That's when a lot of the ideas are generated. And I think that's what people are missing right now. And so I think companies are looking, and I've talked to several companies that are saying we need to get our teams together because we've missed strategy sessions just with our internal teams. We've missed executives getting together to hash out the goals for the next year. Teams haven't been able to get together to say, how are we going to tackle this problem or our sales strategy? And then people want to get out there with their customers. So I think what we'll see companies evolving to is some sort of hybrid where they'll get together and that will still look to these online platforms. And I think that's where, we've actually helped some of our clients with making sure that when they do an online presentation, it's really worthwhile because, quite frankly, people are getting zoomed out. Right? They're like, do I have to do another Zoom? Do I have to? I'm just getting tired of this, right? And so we're starting to see attendance start to come down. We're starting to see interactions start to come down. So people are ready to get together, and hopefully, with vaccines and what's happening, that will be able to happen in different parts of the world where people will be able to get together again.
Yeah. Very true. And and with MICE, with meeting and events and incentives, the main goal for any company is to drive leads most of the time, right? So you have your internal teams, you have your external teams, and driving revenue is critical, right? So do I believe that meeting incentives are going to come back, to Grilly's point? Exactly. Do I think the revenue ones will come back first? Yes. I think that companies will invite their customers to come feel in touch again. That's so important. They haven't seen them. Education sessions will come back again. Internal team meetings will be fewer than they were because this has become a way of life now. And that's all good, by the way. It's all good. There was a lot of travel going on that was, used more like a taxi service sometimes. Like, I have to see somebody at the company for a day, I'll fly across the world. You don't need to do that anymore. We've learned that during COVID. But the reason to have a meeting, the reason to meet your customers, the reason to show off your product where is still very, very important part of doing business. So I'm looking forward to that myself.
Post-COVID consumer behavior will change for sure. Do you think post-COVID corporate will be more demanding? And what do you anticipate corporate travel will be expecting?
I'll jump in here first. Yes, the corporation will be more demanding, and they should be more demanding, right? I think what COVID has showed us that there's been bad business models in our industry. It showed us that, and you think about what's been happening lately. Lately, when we talk to our clients, their travel management companies are coming to them saying, well, we need to increase our fees because we haven't made any revenue because we had a transaction-based model. So you need to support us. You need to pay us. And it just boggles my mind, right, that a business has a model that says, well, we're going to, not be here unless you just write us blank checks. And so I think what we've also seen is that there's also been so many layers added on to try to fix things. So you've got the travel management company. You've got companies that have come in and say, well, we'll rebook your hotels because your TMC didn't do a good job. And so now we've got another fee and another process. All these layers have been added on. And then when you talk to the suppliers, they're tired of paying all these distribution fees. They've got to pay distribution fees to TMCs. They've got to pay them to these other third parties that have come in to say, we're going to make the process better. When in actuality, it's just slowing things down. The travelers are frustrated. The costs have gone up, and everybody's just tired of that. I even heard one TMC, I was talking to one TMC, they want to start charging for chats with their customers. And I'm like, how do you do that, right? I mean, there's just craziness that's going on out there right now. And I think with some of the new methods and the new technology, it sounds like we're saying, well, let's add some more technology to this. We're saying, let's eliminate a lot of these layers. Let's reduce the costs, and you can implement new technology that actually helps do this so that everybody can end up with a better traveler experience, lower costs for both the corporation and the suppliers. And so, yes, corporations will be more demanding, as they should be, and we want to be there with them making those demands.
Yeah, our theory is better together, right? So if the suppliers aren't doing well, then the corporations don't get the best programs. If the corporations aren't getting what they need, then the suppliers aren't doing well. So we have to work together. I think TAMS was built on that as well. To Greeley's point, the COVID has shown that the transparency of those layers and the insanity of what the charges were and what they were for and what the value they brought. We believe there's a place for everybody. There's a place for TMCs that add value in executive travel, complex travel, data management, things like that will really add value back to the companies. We're dealing with millennials and Generation Zs as the majority of the companies now, right? I mean, look at the Indian population. They were born on applications. They were born with their mobiles on their hand, and if they have to tap more than 3 times, they're out. So if 72% of tickets are round trips that they absolutely know where they want to go and when they want to get there, and they're going to Google search first anyway, why not let them go directly to the supplier? The basis for the corporation is I need to know where they are, I want to be able to control what they're doing, and I want to make sure they take advantage of my contracts. If we can give them all of that through direct booking, imagine the possibilities of what's next. Imagine the marketplaces you can build without those layers. So corporations are demanding, flatten the layers, give me value, and give me something I can't do by myself and get the same data there. Why am I paying all this money for something I don't need to do? So show me something valuable. And we think we can do that. So
Anand, just to add my bit of it to your question directly. Yes, are corporates going to be more demanding? Yes, they're going to be more demanding, not on the pricing. They're not going to say, reduce my cost. What they're going to ask is, what is it that you're going to give me where I can rely on it? I can make sure that my travelers are safe. I can make sure the duty of care is taken care. Yeah. How soon these solutions are coming, because nobody will have time to wait. So yes, they're going to get more demanding. So out there, the suppliers need to kind of scale themselves to be able to handle. Once you do that, then the corporates will never think twice about trying the pricing if they have the right fit for what they want. That's
You are watching Travel World.
Today we have young, dashing entrepreneur from India, Mr. Ankush Nijhawan. Mr. Nijhawan also shares a passion for cricket. Welcome, Ankush, on Travel World Online. So, how was this Corona period for TBO?
I think COVID was a good year in that way that we could go back and reboot ourselves. As we say, it's for overhauling of the engine, and I think the team got closer to each other. We went through this. Fortunately, we didn't lose any people in jobs. We made sure everybody's still there. We had some salary cuts in April, but we were the first company in 1st December 2020 that we rolled back 100% salaries. And I think we are the only company still in the country which is still holding 100% and not firing any employee yet. And I don't think that worst is over. We were also profitable, and I must say, and I'm very happy that since 1st August till about 31st March, we picked up a lot of momentum in the domestic business, domestic airline business, and in Dubai and Maldives. So yes, we closed the book in plus 31st March closing. Obviously very minuscule of the profit what we had created pre-COVID. But yes, as long as you break even, you make money, I think the worst is over. And I think it's a matter of another few months. I think we should be settling down, and I can assure you TBO will be a larger company than ever before in terms of size, and our global markets, our new products, which have already have started showing early results. And I'm sure it will only get bigger and stronger from here on.
You have recently opened one more office in Mumbai. What are the plans?
Bombay, we're expanding a lot in many other ways into our marine business, into the cargo business. We are further doubling talent and people in Bombay. Therefore, we needed a bigger office. So our 2 offices in Nariman Point continue, but we needed a bigger space. So therefore, we decided to shift to the other part of Mumbai, which is in Delhi, so that we can cater the market better. Our staff is happier because they work closer from home. And obviously, we needed a largest office because for us, Mumbai remains our number 2 market after Delhi. And I'm happy that we took this place early this year, and obviously moving in once the lockdown settles in Maharashtra.
Your group company, Island Hopper, took over the number 2 company, Gemini Tours. In this crucial time when many travel companies have shuttered, what is the strategy behind opening or taking over Gemini Tours?
We had bought Island Hopper a few months back, in 2019. The plan was basically to build the business for the islands, which was basically Mauritius, Seychelles, and Maldives, because TBO had a policy build versus buy. To explain you, buy means that obviously you will buy, but build is something that you have to weigh the option that if I had to build the size of an Island Hopper, what it was, does it take, how much money does it require, is the speed to the market? It would probably have taken us 2 years to build that level. So the option was that we thought it is better that we buy so that we can hit the market faster. We can have the right contracts, the right supply for the islands. And I'm very glad to say that when we acquired it in 2019 and closing year 31st March 2021, the business has 4 times increased for Island Hopper, and the market share is a little more than 20% for outbound travel from India into Maldives. So while that was happening, to further cartelize, to further consolidate the supply as well as the demand, is where we thought of further buying the number 2 player in the market, which is Gemini. And I'm very, very happy that this transaction happened. We have started the process in October. We concluded it in June, just May end basically. And I'm happy that Mr. Subram and Raji are great founders. They built a great company. And I'm very proud to say that it was a pleasure to have them on board. And now the number 1 has bought the number 2. And I think our market share is obviously almost going to be a little more than 40% in my opinion, going forward to build the islands. We will give our technology, we'll give our distribution, and further strengthen Gemini in terms of capital, in terms of tech, in terms of distribution. I think the manpower what we have is going to really help building this brand more. And with Mr. expertise of Mr. Subram and Raji, I think it's only going to help us building the business for the islands as the market opens up once COVID settles down. Yeah.
How your cargo business is doing for you?
3 days. So May budget has met. We are now profitable. In the month of May, we started from Delhi in October. First 6 months, teething problems, learning business, team settling down. We have opened now our Mumbai cargo setup starting 1st June. Very soon we'll move into Chennai and Ahmedabad in July as well. But I think now we are, as we see, the car has moved to gear 1. But as we say, long way to go. A business which I'm very, very confident will definitely give us great results in terms of bottom line and revenues. And I'm sure we would like to be amongst the top 3 cargo players in 3 to 5 years from now.
According to you, how important is technology to be competitive in today's world?
Plan is to obviously further deep dive in what we have built, master the markets which he already masters at, further increase our share in terms of hotels and air, and our new businesses such as Paxes, Zamzam, TBO Marine, TBO Cargo will definitely settle down this year and will at least make a mark in the market and then build it from there on. Some talents have hired, especially in Mumbai. The integration of Gemini will happen into Island Hopper. So as we always believe, TBO always keeps thinking, always keeps doing, and I'm sure we'll continue the same.
According to you, how important is technology to be competitive in today's world?
I think tech will further play a more role, because I think work from home, especially during the pandemic, has made people get used to the tech more, be it working way or be it the way they transact. It will help in building operating leverages, cutting cost. And I think TBO is a great example of building size and scale was because of tech, and I can't be employing 10,000 people in India. I think I've got a very lean company, not employing more than 550 people running this business. It's all because of tech, and in globally, almost operating 120 countries in the world. So I think tech is not an enabler, it's a necessity now. Yeah.
How do you see the acquisitions and mergers as a strategy at this point of time?
Depends. I mean, if you get the right partner, if you think you don't own something and you want to own a market or own a product, definitely an acquisition is an opportunity. As I said, build versus buy. I think time is a big matter. If you can hit a market now, do it now, or wait and build for 3 years, you might be too late. So I think it is a great opportunity depending at the right price, and I think post-COVID, there are some great companies or good companies who will be willing to look at mergers and acquisition at the right price. I think before that, the valuations, etc., were much more than probably a company deserves. But now I think that correction has happened, and I think there's immense companies available in the world now for acquisition and mergers, and obviously some great talent, which I think is available in India as well as overseas. Hang on, I think 1 year has passed by. I know it's been very tough for everybody. I mean, it's not that somebody was happy and somebody won't. I think everybody, the worst industries was the travel business. But I can assure you that once it settles down, whether it is 3 months or 6 months, I think the best years travel industries ever witnessed would be post-COVID. Now, whether it's 2022 or whether it is late starting 21, that only time will tell. But I think for the next 5 years, once COVID settles down, it's probably going to be the best 5 years the industry has ever seen because of revenge travel, hunger. People are crazy sitting at home. I think it's just going to outburst. I think there will be so much demand that one will not be able to cater to. And I hope it comes true.
Thank you for taking out time, Mr. Ankush Javan. Congratulations and best wishes from Travel World Online family.